Well, after enjoying a wonderful Miracle Mile Carnival where he claimed 2 Group 1 titles, Jack Trainor has continued on his Group 1 winning way, combining with the David Thorne-trained filly Antonia in the Gold Chalice. And he's also behind a couple of very talented horses with very promising careers. And I thought we'd catch up with Jack to talk about that trio. Well, Jack, prior to us going on to these 3 exciting horses I was just alluding to, congratulations on the success with the David Thorne-trained Antonia. You mentioned prior to the New South Wales Oaks, she was just now building towards having gates beat. She's now very lethal now that she's got it.
Yeah, that's right. Obviously, it was a big thrill to win the gold bracelet on her. And, yeah, she just showed that she's an all-round star filly. And obviously, I was just very excited and for the owners and that trainer David. And, yeah, really proud of the horse.
This trio I was mentioning, Jack, you're training 2 of them, you're driving 1. We'll talk about the one that's trained by Peter Russo. You drove to Victory here last week. Very exciting young type by the name of Mahomes.
Yeah, that's right. He's a 2-year-old Tintin in America gelding. He's given me a really good feel so far. He's owned by some really enthusiastic owners, which is always good to see. And, yeah, I think he's got a really bright future. He's got really good speed. He's still learning what it's all about, as you'd expect, but I think Pete's got him going in the right direction, and yeah, he's a horse that the owners are going to have a lot of fun with, I'm sure.
It was good to see they've embraced the name. We're turning up in their Kansas City Chiefs jumpers with Patrick Mahomes' name on the back and his number. It's owners like this we need, and this could be a very promising type which could catch the imaginations further afield.
Yeah, that's right, and obviously it's even as a driver, that's what we like to see as well, the owners getting fully involved and getting a real thrill out of their horses. And yeah, they've jumped on board and they've turned up and all wearing the same footy jerseys and that, and yeah, I'm sure you're going to see a lot more of them in the coming months.
It'd be wonderful, Jack, if the Americans could happen to stumble across the fact that there is a Mahomes racing down here, jump aboard, it'd be worldwide exposure, and it could be a wonderful thing for harness racing down under.
Yeah, that's right. He's the sort of horse that could do it. I think he's big on ability. And, yeah, any publicity like that for our sport is what we need. And, I'm sure that the boys behind the horse, they're all over Facebook and social media too, so they'll be making it well known, his name, and that he's here to stay.
Talking about our friends north of in the Northern Hemisphere, you've got a horse now, Chubby Checker from New Zealand, 2 for 2 for you, and each win is getting better than the next.
Yeah, he is. He's a horse. He's been in my stable for about a month now. Brendan Micallef purchased him out of New Zealand. He's been putting together a few syndicates of late. He's another young fellow that's doing really well for the sport. He's piecing together syndicates of all different size shares, purchasing these horses out of New Zealand, and he come across Chubby Checker, who was trained by Ken Barron, and asked if I'd be willing to take him. So yeah, I looked at his New Zealand form and he looked like a promising type, and as you said, he just seems to keep improving on his runs, and actually last week he pleasantly surprised me. He showed a lot more speed than I thought he had, and yeah, he's sort of upped the ante a bit now, and I think his future's even probably brighter than I'd give him credit for when he first came over.
Jack, we're having this interview prior to the Menangle Fields coming out for the meeting on Saturday, so it's a bit of an unfair question, but how do you think he'll go on Saturday night?
Yeah, like his work's been super since. He's pulled up great. He hasn't had a lot done with him between runs, but it's a 2,300 metre event. Like you said, we don't know where he's drawn, but his speed gives him plenty of options. And the way he rattled home last start, he's got to be in the gradies, and he's got to be a chance even pre-field, I'm sure.
He looks like he's a bit versatile too.
Yeah, he is. He won his first start in front. He made a bit of an error. I fixed up a bit of shoeing and made a couple of gear changes, which seemed to have worked. And yeah, he's a horse. He's just one of those. Sometimes they just click from New Zealand and they thrive on the racing and the surroundings and that. And he's a horse that I've noticed in my barn that's just his attitude. He's picked up in weight. His coat's darkened right up, and he's just a horse that you could say he's just thriving on the environment. So yeah, exciting for a new bunch of owners, and it's again only good for the sport that we get owners in like that and get on a horse that might take them on a good ride.
It's also good for the sport, Jack. We're just moving on from Mahomes, because Chubby Checker was a world-renowned artist, had the #1 hit, The Twist, back in the 60s, maybe even earlier. But he's another name that people in harness racing that are not deep into harness racing may just attach themselves to follow his career.
Yeah, that's right. That was a little bit before my time, I think, Mick. But yeah, I do know of The Twist. I've probably boogied to that a couple of times myself. But yeah, like I said, all these horses that are named like this, if it can create any sort of following or any sort of interest, it can only help our sport. But yeah, he's a horse that's name's going to be around for a few while too.
Another 7-year-old mare, 7 starts for you, 7 wins from WA. The Barber, she's certainly been giving her rivals the short back and sides.
Yeah, she has. She's becoming a bit of a stable favourite, this one. She was purchased out of Western Australia as a 30 raider, and yeah, she's come over and she's another one. She's just sort of clicked in my training style, and to start off with, she was racing down in grade and she was noticing probably a class drop, you could say. I sort of took her out of grade a bit to chase a couple of penalty-free wins, which she was successful in as well. And yeah, I just can't fault her at the moment. She's a real little professional. She wears no gear. She's easy to train. And yeah, I'm hoping she just carries on her merry winning way. And yeah, I'll probably look to bring her to Menangle next Tuesday. I've been hiding her away from the track for a while now, but I think she's ready to step up and take them on. And she's not going to stay unbeaten forever, but she's a little gem of a mare, and she's a real pleasure to have around.
Jack, prior to all that success you enjoyed during the Miracle Mile Carnival, we had a number of chats here on Club Menangle TV. Can you believe the trip you've been on over the last 5 months?
No, I can't actually. It's especially the last month to 6 weeks. It's just been a real snowball effect, and I'm loving it. I know that, but yeah, it's something. Obviously, I just have to thank a lot of trainers and owners that have just given me a real good push at the moment, and I'm just getting that much support, and the quality of horse that I'm driving is obviously stepped up, and then obviously to get horses like Stylish Memphis and Antonia to drive and co-train, it makes things a lot easier for me. But yeah, obviously just comes down to the massive support I'm getting at the moment.
You also said on numerous occasions, Jack, you're willing to put in the hard work, and the hard work will then give you the benefits of enjoying success.
Yeah, that's right. And I think everyone, all the young people starting out now, that's just the bottom line. You've got to be prepared to work hard. You've got to be prepared to listen. And yeah, I feel like I've done that. I've been very lucky. I've had great mentors and great teachers over the years, and I've had a lot of support and always put myself in some good stables. And yeah, I owe a lot of people a lot of thanks for that. And I always try and show them that support, and that I do appreciate it. But yeah, the bottom line is you've got to work hard if you want to get somewhere.
Jack, there's been someone across the ditch who's itching to cross the ditch to get over on this side of the Tasman. Is your grandmother Judy. She's been enjoying this wonderful run. I believe that she's just waiting for this COVID situation to settle down, and she may be turning up at Club Menangle.
Yeah, there's a big chance. I think half my family is about ready to pull the trigger and get over here. And yeah, obviously with COVID, things are a bit tough at the moment, but I think that the Prime Minister of New Zealand's making a call today actually about a trans-Tasman bubble. So yeah, it'd be really nice to get my nana over here. She's obviously one of my biggest fans, as you've stated before, and yeah, she's always the first to message me on a good night, and in her eyes, I can't drive a bad race, so more supporters like her would be good. But yeah, it'd be good to catch up some family, that's for sure.
Well, she'll be sending you plenty of messages because you're having a lot of good nights. Well, I can't wait for her to come over and stand beside you while we have an interview. So, Grandmother Judy, we'll hope to see you over here very shortly.
Awesome, thanks very much.